Përshëndetje përsëri nxënës së dashur, unë jam mësuesja Rezarta Jahiu dhe sot kam përgatitur një orë mësimore për nxënësit e klasës së 5 gjuhë angleze. Në kësaj ore mësimore ju duhet që të keni fletoren, lapsin dhe gomën. Në këtë orë mësimore do të mësojmë diçka për emrat e numërueshëm dhe të panumërueshëm dhe disa shprehje të sasisë apo kuantitetit. Dhe ju lut për vëmendje, për shkak se në fund të orës do të keni një quiz të cilën duhet ta zgjidhni. Okay, dear students, hello again. Today's lesson is prepared for the students of the 5th grade English language. For this lesson, you are going to need your notebooks and your pens or pencils, and you are going to learn something about countable and uncountable nouns and some expressions of quantity. And I will ask you for your attention because in the end of the lesson, you are going to do a quiz. Okay, let's start. Countable and uncountable noun. First of all, we need to know what a noun is. A noun is the name of a person, a place, thing, or idea. Whatever exists can be named, and that name is a noun. For example, we have the word lamp, which is thing, dog, which is animal, Russia, it is a place, milk, money, love, etc. idea or thing or food, whatever. That's why all we can name and whatever exists in this case is called a noun. Okay. Countable nouns. Countable nouns are all things that we can count. For example, a pen. We can have 1 pen, 2 pen, 3 pens, etc. Example, dog, box, bottle, dollar, cup, table, okay, etc. Countable nouns can be singular or plural. So, my dog is playing, my dogs are eating. As you can remember from the previous lesson, we studied about singular and plural of nouns, which is, in this case, we have my dog is playing. This verb is in singular, whereas my dogs and the ending s in the end of the noun, which makes it plural. My dogs are eating. Okay. Uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are substances, concepts, feelings, etc. that we cannot divide into separate elements. We are not able to count them. Example, we have milk, money, electricity, information, music, love, etc. So you can make a difference between countable and uncountable nouns. So countable nouns were all the nouns that we can, things that we can count, but uncountable nouns are substances, concepts, feelings that are not objects, that we cannot count them and we cannot separate them into elements. That's why, for example, can we count electricity or can we count information? No. So we cannot say 1 information, 2 informations, etc. So in this case, this is uncountable noun, and you have to remember that. We usually treat uncountable nouns as singular. We use a singular verb. So in the countable nouns, we had a singular, both singular and plural. But with uncountable nouns, we only use singular verbs. For example, this news is very important, or your luggage looks heavy. Here we have the singular verb is, because news is uncountable noun, and for uncountable nouns, we use the verb in singular. Okay. Here we have some pictures of water. Water is uncountable noun. But when we need to know how much water or the quantity of water, that's why in those cases we use expressions of quantity. For example, we have a bottle of water, a glass of water, can be a glass of milk, a glass of orange juice, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a can of tuna, for example, a bowl of popcorns, a bowl of rice, a bowl of vegetables, a slice of bread, a slice of lemons, etc. So all these elements here are uncountable nouns. And that's why we cannot say, can you give me water, please? But we have to say the quantity. We have to express it in order to get understood by the others. For example, can you give me a bottle of water, please? Can you give me a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, please? So we have to express the quantity of these uncountable nouns. Good. When we are talking about countable and uncountable nouns, we need some elements, other elements that we take into consideration when we talk about those things. For example, we have some and any. We use some with uncountable and plural countable nouns in affirmative sentences and offers. Remember this. For example, uncountable noun. There is some cheese in the fridge. For example, you know that cheese is what? Cheese is uncountable noun. Okay, apples. Apples is countable noun, plural countable noun in this case. Okay, so some is used both for uncountable and countable nouns. But here is important to know for you that some is used for affirmative sentences and offers. Here we have affirmative sentences. There is some cheese in the fridge and he bought some apples in the market. And here we have an offer in the end. Shall we take some tickets for tomorrow's movie? Even though we have here a question mark, this is not an interrogative sentence. This is an offer because we have here, shall we take some tickets for tomorrow? This is an idea, a suggestion or offer, okay? We use any with uncountable and countable nouns in negative. We have here negative and questions or interrogative statements. For example, we have there isn't any cheese in the fridge. So what's the difference between the first sentence here and the second here? There is some cheese in the fridge. There isn't any cheese in the fridge. So this isn't is called a negation. And this makes this sentence becomes a negative statement or negative sentence. And that's why from this one, this sentence takes this expression, any and not some. There isn't any cheese in the fridge. So when we have a negation or a negative sentence, please use any and not some. Countable noun. He didn't buy any apples in the market. So here we have also the negation, didn't, and that's why we have here any. And for question sentences or for interrogative sentences, is there any sugar in the cupboard? So the person is asking a question, and that's why we have any here and not some. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next slide. How much and how many, also it has their importance as some and any. How much and how many are used to ask about the quantity of something. So these are used to make questions about the countable or uncountable nouns. We use how much with uncountable nouns to ask about the quantity of something. For example, how much flour do we need for the cake? 200 grams flour. Whereas how many, we use it with plural countable nouns to ask about the number of something. So, pay attention here. Here we have quantity, how much. So we want to know how much for uncountable nouns, for things that we cannot count. So here are interested to know the quantity of that. Whereas for how many uncountable nouns, we are interested to know the number of something. So remember, we use how much for uncountable, and we ask about the quantity, whereas how many we use for countable nouns, and we ask about the number of something. For example, how many eggs do we need to buy? 7 eggs. So 7 eggs tells the number, whereas 200 grams flour shows the quantity. Okay, I hope this is clear. And in the end of this lesson, you have this quiz to do by yourselves. Okay, you have to put the correct answers into the spaces with some or any. And please, students, don't forget, remember that some is used for affirmative sentences and offers, whereas any is used for negative statements and questions. Okay. Nxënës të dashur, kjo ishte e tëra e përgatitur për ditën e sotme dhe në fund mos harroni që pasi ti keni shënuar të dhënat kryesore për këtë orë mësimore, ta bëni këtë quiz që do duhet të vendosni fjalën e duhur në zbrastirat, som apo any. Mos harroni që som përdoreshte për fjali pohore dhe kur japim oferta, gjithashtu any u përdorke për fjali mohore dhe pyetëse. Okay? Thank you very much, students, for your attention. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.